What's up, guys? Happy Monday. It is cold. I just came from the kitchen. Kind of cold. It's supposed to rain? I guess so. How we doing, guys? Happy Monday. Hope you had a good Super Bowl Sunday. Good weekend. Most of y'all saw on Saturday. Fun day yesterday. Fun game yesterday. What's up, Sergio? What up, Chester? What up, Chris? Ducking. Squeak. Cautious. Donnie. This is Donnie Baker. What up, Mike? Gilbert. Brad. Steve. Crispy. Dang Lazy Mofo. Hope you guys are doing all right. We have got a ton of basketball tonight, so we really can't waste too much time to get into the action. So we're going to jump head first into some stuff. I didn't get benches inputted into the spreadsheet, so we're going to do that as we go. Oh, no. Here we go. What's up, Miguel? What up, Smoothie? Eat my shorts. Hope you guys are doing all right. All right, so let's get into the action here. Game by game, you guys know the drill. As we hit up each game, if you guys already have some leans, some plays, some props, drop it in the chat. Share it with the class. Love to hear it. Talk about it. Investigate it. Lots of games. Let me see. Spurs. Where are we at, Spurs? I got to get benches put in as we go, too. There we go. Actually, some places have Blake Wesley starting here. Wesley Johnson, Collins. All right, that's about right. So, as we input benches, my boy Devontae Graham, 2 games in now. His per minute with the Spurs looking nice. But Spurs do have a laundry list of what's going on as the Cavs look pretty healthy. I probably need to go reference the news as well. Charles Basley. All right, we'll just do totals, and then I'll do benches as we go, man. Cleveland is 15-point favorite. So projected starting 5: Blake Wesley, Malachi Branham, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, Zach Collins taking on Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. 224 total, 15-point spread. That's pretty incredible. Referencing back to the news from 3 p.m., there was double-digit or 2 different graphics, right? So LeBron questionable. Saw a video of him warming up. Of course, he was at the Super Bowl yesterday. Some speculated that his warm-up was extra intense this morning. Could be him trying to ramp back up after missing a couple games or what have you. Joel Embiid, questionable. Jamal Murray, questionable. Rudy Gobert, questionable. Halliburton, questionable. Miles Turner, Aaron Gordon, questionable. AD's probable. Bam Adebayo, probable. McCollum, questionable. Tyler Hero, doubtful. Jeremy Grant, I think he just got ruled out with a concussion. I feel like this is his second concussion in like a month, too. Kuzma, questionable. John Collins, questionable. Keldon Johnson, probable. Bogey, questionable. Tim Hardaway, questionable. Kyle Anderson, questionable. Sohan, probable. Streets, probable. All right, cool. And then, yeah, afterwards, Grant got ruled out, and Kevin Knox available to make his debut. Cool. Cool. What's up, Ryan? You think Graham will start? So I looked at 2 different projected starting lineups. One had Graham, one had Wesley. And because Graham didn't start when they had nobody, I'm just leaning towards the Wesley, but it certainly is possible. Almost had a Super Bowl showdown takedown. Oh, man, Jake, let's go. I had a... what happened? Oh, the Devontae Smith. He hit that wide open bomb where he like stumbled out of bounds inside the 10. If he would have scored that touchdown, I would have been happy. But in retrospect now, I had McKinnon under and he went over. So, but we hit a 4-legger on no house advantage for like, I don't know what it was, a couple hundred, 500 or something like that. So that was fun. It was a lot of fun. Hate that the game maybe ended on the way it did, but I felt like it was going to end like that no matter what. Hero better not play. I already put 100 on Gabe Vincent, points and assists. Oh, no. Gabe Vincent's not fun to sweat. So a 15-point spread here, man. There is not a lot to feel confident in on really both sides on a slate this big. Cleveland's going to bring the pace down and bring the defense with them. San Antonio is a collection of who's that. Lots of Q tags that could become O tags, I guess. We'll go to the San Antonio injury news and notes. Perhaps there's still a little bit opportunity to excel at a price point. Kel Johnson probable, Sohan probable, Dougie McBucket's questionable. So it's really not. They're kind of healthy. So because of that, I probably am not going to be that enthralled with the Spurs. You could make a case that Devontae Graham at 3,500, if he didn't start, might be a better play, right? Because if the game blows out and they just got the scrubs out there, Devontae, his per minute is nuts, and the game script has him trailing double digits. So Devontae, we know he'll let it rip. He'll chuck it from behind the arc. So maybe Devontae on DraftKings makes the player pool for me. Yeah, 7, 16 threes this last couple games. FanDuel, I think his price is a little too much. So just give me Devontae there. On the Cavs, everyone has a case here. Literally everyone. But we're struggling with games, competitive flow down the stretch. So maybe we want to attack this game for prize picks in the first half. Or maybe we want to take a shot at some of these scoring props. We've seen some big scoring games from opposing centers the last couple outings, and the Spurs have been one of the worst teams at defending points in the paint all year. So Jared Allen should be able to walk to a couple of extra points. I wonder what what's the prop line on Jared Allen, and then maybe we focus on the first half for that 16.5. So you probably get that 8.5, 9 in the first quarter. So we would need 5 dunks, 9 points. Yeah, we need 5 dunks. So no warm and fuzzies, but the matchup is pure for everybody. But that's the problem when the matchup is pure for everybody, that they could all go off. So maybe in DFS I max 1 Cav, just to get there. And then I probably don't get much on the Spurs outside of Devontae on DK FanDuel. I think everyone's appropriately priced, and I don't pick on the Cavs if I can help it. I guess Zach Collins, right? At 4,500, still absolutely a ceiling worth having, but certainly not a matchup we feel great about. But his per minute and his price is probably overall too low. So Collins, Devontae, and then max 1 Cav. And that's probably what I would do with this game from a DFS standpoint. I don't really know that I'm going to get here from the prop streets. Just too much volatility in that spread, you know? Let's get caught up on chat. I've been having the sniffles today, too. Really, the last 2 days. Touchdown would have been huge. So I think the sweat was, in the moment, I needed Jalen Hurts 1 passing touchdown. I needed Devontae to go over X yards. Whatever it was, it all would have happened on that one play. And the only thing that I was sweating was McKinnon yards. And then it would have hit all 7 legs for no house. But McKinnon ended up going over anyway. So what are you going to do? We still cashed because the overlay's crazy. And took advantage of a promotion by using code Gundecker when I signed up. And it was all good. But, could have been like holding hands for 20K, right? Wesley might be coach's DNP last game. Graham still got run. I think Graham will get run regardless. I think he's earned that. I'm thinking there might be a case to say he's a better play off the bench here. But irregardless, I think his skill set, his price on DraftKings, and the game script is kind of in his favor. Yeah, Wesley, he came in for the mop-up crew, and Devontae was the first one up. So, like I said, 2 different starting lineups I saw from projection sources. One had Devontae starting, one had Wesley. And if you are going to use rotational information from the previous game, Trey Jones' first backup was Devontae. So there's a good chance Devontae starts. LeBron's out. Ruled out. Look at the Lakers making that decision this early. Shout out to them. What up, Pinstripe? Hope you're doing all right. Good catch, Justin. What up, Craig? You answered my question on Graham as a blowout option. Yeah, so like I said, I think there's a I guess we would say 50-50 chance he starts. Might even be better based on him being the first guy off the bench for Trey Jones last game. But I think his price is just too low. So I would be there, irregardless. Even if he started, it's not like he's a bad play if he starts. I just think, people have the tendency to be scary of people that don't start in DFS, and there's still benefits to coming off the bench. Like if he had less overlap with Keldon Johnson, well, then there's more potential usage in his per minute production. Jazz and the Pacers, we've got a 238 total, 1-point spread in favor of the visiting Utah Jazz. The 2 Utes, Talen Horton-Tucker. Don't get me started on Talen Horton-Tucker, but congratulations to all you guys that have a different stance than me on THT from, was it Saturday night? My goodness. I think he dropped 40 fantasy points, and it made no sense at all. I'm sure you've heard enough about that, but yeah, man, if you got to some THT on Saturday, heck, if you went there on Friday and went back on Saturday or whatever it was, kudos to you. Congrats. Because if you listen to my stream, I might have made you not feel as great about it. So the situation was, if you missed it, we go to Utah 2 games ago. That was the game where everyone got rolled out. Mike Conley was on trade watch, blah, 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 blah. And they started Colin Sexton and Akbaji. And that night, people still went to Talen Horton-Tucker. And Talen Horton-Tucker offered 26 minutes of gameplay. And actually, this was the night after the trade. And this was arguably because Akbaji got an incredible foul trouble, like insane foul trouble. The night where the trade crap happened was here. And this is the night that Jordan Clarkson played with Sexton. And THT got 24 minutes and 4 minutes in cleanup time. So then cue the next game. There's no Jordan Clarkson. Everyone's ready to play THT because there's no possible way he can't not play. And that's when he still got less than 30 minutes, 26. Cue the next game. Jordan Clarkson's back. Akbaji's in front of him in the freaking depth chart. Sexton's been playing 30-plus minutes. And what happens? Talen Horton-Tucker gets 27 minutes of action because Colin Sexton is in, I guess he was in foul trouble all game, but he didn't foul out till late. I don't know. I guess it just worked out well for him. So it made even less sense to me for Talen Horton-Tucker to be a play on the night where we've already established that he was behind Akbaji in the depth chart. We bring back Jordan Clarkson, and THT just goes nuclear. So it is what it is, right? 23 points, 7 assists, 40 fantasy points. I've always known his per minute production's great, but it just feels like his minutes are not or weren't or shouldn't be as stable as the field values them at. Like, I think he's overvalued by the field. And here we go again. The Utah Jazz at the Pacers. Pacers a big pace-up spot, porous defense. So I would love to know what you guys are doing here. Because, man, I feel like any decision I make regarding THT is going to be the wrong one. On the surface, he's not too far from Devontae Graham in price point, and he's in an arguably better spot. If Devontae starts, I might feel better about his minute projection. But yikes, man. I just felt like that was like the top 1% outcome for playing THT in that spot against the Knicks. So, I don't know, man. I'm really, at this point, I'm just like at my wit's end with what to do with THT. I would say hopefully his ownership is not astronomical because it is a massive slate. But the field loves them some Talen Horton-Tucker. So, I guess I would take a peek over at ownership projections. Maybe get a lean. Man, I think I'm stuffy. What's up, Brooklyn? Which bigs play on the Blazers with Grant out? Could be Nas Little, like Trendon Watford, guys like that. We'll get there. Talen Horton-Tucker is the third highest on projected player. Cool. We love this game. Mark Williams, Max Strus. Yeah. Why is Mark Williams still so gosh dang affordable? All right, so I guess we put him in a blender, but at top 3 ownership, I kind of want to stay to my guns here. The slot machine, right? If you're at the play slot machine, play it. If you're at the fade slot machine, fade it. Oh man, maybe that ownership will come down as more news develops. But Colin Sexton looks like a fine play. Jordan Clarkson looks like a fine play. Larry Markkinen on FanDuel, much cheaper than his DraftKings counterpart. Looks like a great play. Lots to like here. Guys, I think I'm coming down with something. On the Pacer side, Halliburton. Man, Pacers cannot keep these games competitive the last 2 outings. And I've been at the window with Halliburton assists. And he just ends up, one, getting smoked off the court like we saw in Phoenix and really in Washington. But Washington, they still played 35 minutes. In the third quarter, he had like 6 assists at halftime, picked up nothing in the third quarter. And so that was pretty disappointing for me. I'd probably go back to the well here in a more competitive game script, being just a 1-point spread. And maybe there's some value now, right? Shoot, maybe not. No, what's up with the... Why don't we have Pacers props? What are we waiting on here? Oh, Halliburton. Duh. Let's see what's going on with him. If he can't go, it might be a McConnell inevitable night, right? Can't believe LeBron was on Twitter complaining about that holding call. Everybody was on Twitter complaining about that call. Halliburton looked like he was sent for a rough night, but he picked up some points. Blah 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 blah. All right, so I don't have a designation. Bruised left thigh. Halliburton injury doesn't appear to be overly concerning. He'll test his health during morning shoot around. All right, so I hope we get that information. Would assume that, I don't know. Let's see if the books have lines on the Pacers. AD has to break his slate eventually with no Bron, which he was still power forward. Yeah, them locking up the centers on a couple of guys has certainly changed lineup construction, huh? No, nothing on the Pacers. Okay, or at least nothing on Halliburton. If Halliburton can't go, TJ McConnell's 5K on both sides, and we've seen that flourish in his per minute production. We've even seen him like kind of pay that off with Halliburton back, right? 31 fantasy points against Miami in 27 minutes. So if we can boost his normal, I think we got him at 20 minutes. If we can get him to another 10 minutes, yeah, I think he can pay off that price point. Should be a all hands on deck type of matchup where everyone looks pretty solid. Buddy Hield might pick up some more scoring load. I think his price is a little bit above comfort, but let's see. I don't know. Let's go pull up Halliburton in the on-off. Let's just take Hallie off, huh? We'll take off Hallie and put on, what, Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, maybe? See what we're working with. I guess it would come down to which of the random guards start. Lillard's going to torch the Lakers. I do like Lillard quite a bit. 40-plus real points. Very realistic outcome tonight. Miles Turner with a 24% usage. Mathurin pushes 27. Hield's usage not as high as I thought it would be. Still over a point per minute. And he's going to chuck threes, but not as high as I thought it would be. Interesting. Utah gives up a lot of fast break points, huh? Where's Indiana on the fast break? Huh. That might be a lot of Halliburton too, though. Let's see. Fast break points allowed. Utah's second. And fast break points scored. Indiana's first. That's fun. What's up, Timmy? Becoming a staple for my afternoon. I appreciate that. I'm sorry that we didn't have a normal start time today. I end up going 2:30 my time. I usually like to be on the air at 2, especially for these bigger slates. But do you have a standard you use for ownerships and tournaments that you use to make sure you aren't too chalky? What up, Mamba? No. I think the process that I use, and I tell you guys all the time, is high ownership doesn't necessarily mean I can't play it. There's a lot of people that have that instant, what's the word, stigma, negative connotation on high ownership. I would say that the conservative way to look at it, or the fair way that I look at it, is, for an example, tonight, Max Strus is 51% owned. And that's familiar, right? So if I go to Miami and I just put Max Strus on the court, and what is it? Hero, Lowry, or Lowry's out, Hero's doubtful, right? Is that the only piece of news? Yeah, and Adebayo has a tag on him. But anyway, so what we do know is that Hero is doubtful and Lowry's not expected, or Lowry's out. So we go over to the on-off court tool and just Max Strus as a player, 0.75 fantasy points per minute in that split. Let's put Jimmy on. Let's put Adebayo on. Wow, Strus is way better than I thought he was in that split. Okay. So, I guess at 1 fantasy point per minute, if you believe that to hold up, it's only 69 minutes of sample size, so it's not enough sample size to feel great about anyway. But let's say, all right, hey, in this opportunity that he might have tonight, we've seen him sustain 1 fantasy point per minute. We're going to project 30, 34 minutes on him. So that'll probably get us close to 30, 34 fantasy points. On an 11-game slate is 34 fantasy points at $3,800. Got a great chance to be in the optimal lineup. Being, if you play to win your tournament, what's his probability of being a must play? If you say it's 70%, man, if he's gonna drop 30 at 3,800, I think there's a 70% chance he's in the top lineup. Well, then that's the value I would put on it, is 70% probability of being optimal. And that's just obscure numbers. Don't use this one-to-one, but just as an example of what we do with ownership. Then we look at ownership projections, and he's at 51%. And then you're like, well, hey, that's still 20% less than the number I had him at. So that's what we call positive leverage. Now, if I looked at this number and Max Strus was sustaining a 0.4 fantasy point per minute, and we've seen this with like Davion Mitchell, Gabe Vincent, guys like that, where they're sustaining such a low point per minute, and it's just like, man, I don't think that there's a great chance for them being like first place lineup. I would say, maybe an 8%, a 12% chance, and then I look at ownership projections and they're 40% owned. Well, then that's just like crazy over-owned based on my probability of them being successful. So I think I don't have a rule of thumb when it comes to chalk just in general. Like, just because a player's 60% doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to fade them. That's how I approach it. Probability of success versus ownership. Hopefully that helped and made sense, because I felt like I might have been all over the road. What was I doing? We were moving on. We were done with the Pacers, right? He's the only point guard who should have a bunch of shots, assists. Yeah, we'll look at the splits when we get to that game. You guys want to hit that thumbs up though? I'm just saying. What's up, Bags? Hope you're doing all right. All right, so we'll move on from there, but I definitely think this is a juicy game for fantasy and perhaps for props once stuff starts clearing up. I guess Turner has a tag on him too. Yeah, Hallie and Turner would be pretty big pieces, but it's only a 1-point spread. Questionable with a lower back soreness. Huh. Okay. All right, let's move on since we got to make up some time. Sixers hosting the Rockets. Project starting 5 for the Rockets. Jayshawn Tate, Jalen Green, Kenyon Martin Jr., Jabari Smith, Alperen Şengün up against James Harden, DeAnthony Melton, Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, Joel Embiid. We've got a 226.5 total with a 13.5 point spread in favor of the 76ers. So we've already discussed, 4 games? 2 of them have double-digit point spreads. That's a yikes. Let's get the bench typed in for Houston real quick. I need a bigger keyboard. I feel like my ape hands are just all over the place. Let's go Maxey, Gorgeous Yang, Jalen McDaniels, Shake Milton, Paul Reed, Montrezl Harrell. So much like the Cavs spot, there's a lot to like here, matchup specifically for the 76ers, but there's also plenty to be concerned about, most notably, how long into the second half this game might go. Sixers projected to put the hurting on the Rockets. The Rockets will go as Jalen Green and Şengün goes. We've been on the Şengün assist prop. It fell through against Adebayo. Adebayo is a great defender. And Embiid's pretty solid too. So I'd be willing to go back to the well if it's still at like 4.5 in some spots. Let's see what the PrizePicks is at. Şengün assist is at 5. What's the market? 4.5, and it got pushed to 5, so that's fair. What about No House? Do we get let's go to the pick'em. Şengün. Oh, we don't get Şengün prop? Oh, yeah, we do. His assist is at 3.5. So I would absolutely floor that on No House at 3.5 in the pick'em contest. All right, so that's how I would do it. Obviously, we've talked ad nauseum about Şengün's assist rate when he shares the court with Jalen Green. It's like 26%. We take off KPJ, we take off Eric Gordon. And then Jalen Green, if we're going to put the Rockets on playing spoiler, I think Jalen Green real points would have to thrive here. Jalen Green, 28.7% usage. Şengün has his assist rate's only 19% in that split. Something ain't right. Is Kevin Porter not? Yeah, it's not processing Kevin Porter off. And I don't have time to be overly patient with this today, but we'll try it again. Take off KPJ. KPJ is still there. There we go. Yeah, now we see Şengün's assist prop is still not a pro. It's supposed to be like 25%. Something's. Okay. Anyway, Jalen Green's usage is going to be sky high. Under 7K. So I guess if you want to put a couple of these games together to play spoiler, 20 plus shot attempts is not an outlandish expectation for Jalen Green. A lot of them will be from behind the arc. The Sixers, with that Joel Embiid led anchor paint defense and PJ Tucker there as well, they'll probably have a scheme for Şengün. So we might funnel more shots to the outside. Let's go 3-point attempts per game. I guess Philly's going to be pretty low on everything because their pace is so low. How about opposing team 3-point frequency? 76ers. I'm going to love league average. So I don't know. I'm trying to paint a picture or connect some dots to feel better about a sub 7K Jalen Green. And I guess the statement would be, if the Rockets don't get laughed off the court, Jalen Green has over 25 points, right? I think that's fair. If they also don't get laughed off the court or stay close enough, strong enough, long enough, Joel Embiid's going to project like an incredible play with a ton of ceiling. Looking at the raw projections, Embiid was third in raw projections. This was before LeBron got ruled out, so I imagine Anthony Davis is going to jump up as well. But the conversation is Luka, Dame, Embiid, Jokic, guys like that. So Embiid can be king of the mountain tonight. Do we necessarily need him to play 38 minutes to do that? No, but it would be nice. So I'm kind of on the fence. So maybe, and he's going to be price expensive no matter what. So even if we like wanted to go grab some first half props, it's probably like 30 fantasy points, right? 28.5. It's just no warm or fuzzies there, but I think he should dominate. So I want to get to him in DFS. We'll see what the ownership closes at. And I think because of how many guard or value guards are popping up, we're gonna see some double center or a lot of centers tonight grab ownership. And I wonder if Embiid will be one of them. I feel like he gets phased out, especially when guys like Jokic are on the slate or AD without LeBron, and that's going to correlate really good with Damian Lillard. So if we can keep on getting Embiid a single-digit ownership, then I'll keep playing him. Right? Şengün under 30.5 PRA, hoping for foul trouble. That's fair. Let's get caught up on chat. What's up, Dutch? It's such a big slate. Would you guys play Mark Williams and Nick Richards together since they're so cheap, or is that something you'd be pro? I personally wouldn't, Dutch, and the reason is because it's a big slate. Ceiling is everything on these size slates, right? We can get away with getting a little bit more cute on the smaller slates in terms of grabbing some negatively correlated stuff. In a vacuum, those guys can probably both hit at their price point, but you really want the seesaw to lean one way or the other, and you just want ceiling outputs, right? It's like a big baseball slate. We want home runs from everyone because 22 teams of players, you're probably going to get a card full of like 10 X's, right? So I probably wouldn't. How's that Mark Williams Collins ownership looking? At last glance, Mark Williams was super chalk. Collins is 1 in 5, but Mark Williams is up there. Would you take Philly first to 20 points? I mean, probably, yeah. And Embiid usually plays the whole first quarter, right? Maybe we get Embiid first quarter props. I feel like he usually plays the whole first quarter. Embiid most of the first quarter there, and the Knicks. Embiid the full first quarter, because I feel like every slate ever that Joel Embiid has been on, people lose their mind because they didn't play Embiid in the first, and he's got like 20 in the first. So PrizePicks does offer first quarter props eventually. Maybe if they open up something for Embiid in the first quarter, yeah. But that also would make me want to play the Sixers first to 20. Somebody said that. Whoever said first to 20. Tyson. So yeah, I would. What projections would you suggest using, and which optimizer is your favorite? Doesn't have to be a long answer, but I've tried a lot. What's your favorite you've used? So I use my own projections, and I use Fantasy Cruncher. Now the thing with projections though is most projections in the industry have a lot of parity, so they're pretty linear with each other because a lot of the models are either just pulling player props from the boards or just it's pretty. So I think most projections are going to be pretty similar. Like my numbers right now on, so let's say I got Luka at 62 fantasy points. If I go over to Stochastic, they might not have the same amount of fantasy points for Luka, but we probably have a similar like hierarchy, right? It's probably Luka, Dame, or is at least it's really, really close. And if you're using randomness, right? Yeah, they have literally looking at their projections. It's not the same exact numbers. Like I'm higher, but Luka, Dame, Jokic, Embiid, Luka, Dame, Embiid, Jokic. So we're flip flopping, but it's not by much. So I wouldn't get caught up in the projections per se. I think finding a site that has just rock steady projections is great. When you use an optimizer, you're probably going to use randomness anyway. So the 1 point margin of difference or less than is not going to be that big of a discrepancy. So don't blame the projections in that regard. I guess when it comes to like projecting the scrubs, that's where the rubber meets the road. And as far as optimizer, I personally use Fantasy Cruncher. Most of the pros I know are happy with Fantasy Cruncher, so that's what I use. It allows me to do what I need to do. So hopefully that answers that question. What are your top 3 centers on the slate outside of Embiid and Joker? Probably grabbing some of the value guys. And Anthony Davis without LeBron, right? What's up, yo, Elvis? Kessler at 5,600 and Davis are the good center plays. All right. Embiid 17.5 first half points. Take that. I mean, that's still aggressive. I think he should dominate. But the thing with that sneak is, I say this all the time, everybody has a good matchup. So that's just, that's top shelf stuff that if you got that feeling you're bad knee, go for it. What I would look for when PrizePicks opens up first quarter, see what we can get on PrizePicks for Embiid first quarter. Because Embiid first half, like we said, his rotation usually has him playing the entire first quarter. So could you get him at, I don't know, 14 to 15, 14 and a half first quarter fantasy points, or 8? Yeah, I don't know. I think I like taking a shot on his first quarter stuff. What's up, Bennett? All right, Hawks at the Hornets. Project starting 5 for the Hawks: Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, Clint Capella taking on LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, and Mark Williams. We have a 241 total. Good Lord. 241 total. Atlanta favored by 6 here. So finally a game that looks like it should be a Honeywell for scoring. And hopefully we can walk away with some prop goodness, right? Sadiq Bey, Jake Griffin, Jalen Johnson, Aaron Holiday. Let's get some bench. Hope you guys are cool with me typing some benches. Usually I do this before I go live, but ran out of time today. Still a short bench for the Hornets, and they've been running like 9-man rotation, so we could plant some big minutes on the Hornets still. Looking at the rotations for the Hornets the last couple games, I do have to find some spots to speed it up, but I think this is a spot worth hanging out at for a minute. Would you play Mark Williams on FanDuel? I think if you're just looking for points per dollar and return on investment, he's a good play in a vacuum. So yes, I would play him, but I also would go back to what I said about ceilings being the priority on an 11-game slate. Still want to win the position, right? So is he forward eligible on FanDuel? I don't remember. If he's center only and a guy like Embiid or Jokic, beat him by 30 points, you're going to want the other guy. So I wouldn't get glued to him if he's center only, but would I play him? Yes. If I was managing a portfolio of lineups, I absolutely think he's got upside at that price point. Looking at the Hornets last couple games, 35, 33, 36 minutes on Hayward. LaMelo Ball, 35 minutes. Didn't play the last minute or so. Complete garbage time. Look at that Celtics game. Kind of the same thing, 37 minutes out of LaMelo. So what I'm inferring here is with this short bench or this tight rotation and a 240 total 6-point spread, LaMelo Ball has a real chance to play 37-plus minutes, which puts a lot of potential fantasy points in his bucket. How far down do we got to go in the raw projections to get to LaMelo? Inside the top 10, we're gonna lose LeBron, so yeah, he'll be up there real quick in terms of guards that have an attackable ceiling. And because guys like Luka and Damian Lillard are on the slate, maybe he's in their shadow a little bit. So I do like the thought of LaMelo quite a bit. And then Mark Williams on DraftKings at 4K. It's almost embarrassing how they haven't adjusted his price. I don't know if they're reactionary, waiting for it to happen, but his per minute potential is just way too good here. Catching Jokic on night 2 of a back-to-back 3 and 4, that's just rough, and foul trouble is very, very, very likely in that spot. So I guess in a way it kept the price suppressed. He should be probably between 5 and 6K if he's going to be the starting center for Charlotte going forward. So I don't want to say can't miss, but it's a hard to miss play at 4K in such a aggressive game, right? These two teams are two of the fastest paced teams in basketball. More paces, more possessions, more shots, more missed shots, more rebounds, and stuff like that. So gotta like him a lot on DraftKings. Still very, very valuable on FanDuel. Some of you guys have kind of teeter-tottered between what to do with him and Nick Williams behind him. We saw him get in big foul trouble early on against Jokic, and because of that, only offered about 50 seconds of playtime in the second quarter, and that's where Nick Richards stepped in. I don't think that it's an even split between him and Nick Richards if they can help it. I think it's 80 or maybe 65-35. Mark Williams, I think Mark Williams is the starter that would probably see 28-32 minutes as a priority over Nick Richards. So if I'm juggling between what to do with him and I want exposure to both, I think I just put him in the group on Cruncher, and I don't want those two in the same lineup because I'm going to have open door policy on this game when it comes to these players. I'm going to have LaMelo, Rozier, Hayward in the pool, and Hayward's been offering some minutes as well and decent output. So a lot to like here, even PJ Washington. So I like a lot about this game, and I'm going to be loading up on it, and I could see myself allowing up to 3 players from either team. So I definitely want to govern the rules there to make sure I'm not getting negatively correlated lineups where maybe I'm cutting myself off at the kneecaps on Williams and Richards, right? I want the ceiling output there. Lot to like. While we're here, what do we get on LaMelo assists? Oh, we're still in the first half. Charlotte. We get him at 8.5 assists. I think I would lean the over on such a bullish total. And then do we get Rozier at 2.5 threes maybe? 2.5 3-pointers made. So those are kind of like my 2 favorite usually. LaMelo's got a little bit of lean on the over 8.5 in some spots, and then 3-pointers. You just hit the like button. I appreciate you, bro. I do. Does that say 300 viewers, bro? Y'all are nuts today. And then Rozier, a little bit of steam on the over at 2.5. So I would probably start a list with those two, I guess. LaMelo Ball over 8.5 assists, and then Terry Rozier over 2.5 threes. Any categorical or fundamental disagreements with that? Because he's gonna let loose, and if they're gonna live up to a 115 to 120 point total, I think those are guys that are involved. There are some books I think it's Bet Online where you can get 2+ threes in a parlay. So he just needs to hit 2. That's just Terry Rozier specialty. So, and then on the other side, Trae Young assists. That's been a go-to for me lately. He's at 11. Ooh. All right. So that's expensive. What else can we get here? Clint Capella. So the Hornets do give up a ton of fantasy points to opposing centers. A ton. And he's at 34.5. These are good prices, I think. How about the no house static stuff? What can we get on this game? Might just game stack this game on no house, right? And have fun. 9.5 assists, so we're getting the value. We're getting value there. Do we get 3s for Terry? We get 2.5. Not really value, but I'm still on it. 7.5 for LaMelo. So yeah, I'm going crazy with some of these numbers in the pick'em contest on No House. What website to check odds? So this is OddsShopper. This is free. What I'm looking at, I'll put a link to this particular page. Those of you that watch the stochastic content, a lot of the OddsShopper probabilities are based off the stochastic projection. So I trust it, so I use it. What's up, Nick? Came in 300, pounded the thumbs up. Man, I appreciate you, Nick. You're a real one. We're at 56 likes. Can we get to 100? Let's just get it out the way. Just get it out the way. What else we got? How you feeling about Sengun under fantasy points versus Joel? I have him locked in. Fantasy points for Sengun is 36.5. That's on the cusp of comfort. Dang, Pojan, you out here getting auto modded here. I probably have him projected over. I do quite a bit, but I'm with you on it being a bad matchup. So if you get that feeling in your bad knee, that storm's brewing. It's coming in. Go for it. I wouldn't have the balls to sweat it, but I get it. I get the justification. What up, Vic? You're taking a bong hit before I head to work for you. For me? That's a weird. I appreciate it. And you can take a bang hit. That'd be more for me. By the way, I'm having to drink that rainbow unicorn stuff. But it's the last one. I just didn't want to waste, right? There's caffeine starving kids somewhere that don't have bangs, so I can't waste it. All right, let's move on. Denver and Miami. I'm gonna love so much about Atlanta and Charlotte, so I don't want to spend too much time there. We're loading up on it. Denver and Miami. We've got a 219.5 total, and Denver's favored by 1. Cool. Denver bench here. Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, Thomas Bryant, Flatco, Ken Card, Jeff Green, Ish Smith. You guys think I'm the fastest typer in DFS or what? And then, good lord, what's going on for the Jamari Bouye? Jamal can't. Yeah. So it's one of those Miami Heat really, really short nights, huh? So getting caught up on the Heat injury news and notes. Gabe Vince is probable. Tyler Hero's doubtful. Depot's out. Kyle Lowry's out. Max Strus, Haywood Highsmith probable. Bam Adebayo probable. I believe Jimmy Butler is just straight up in. So they have a very, very shallow pool of players that are active, and we've seen this, or could be active. We've seen this play out a few times, so we can get aggressive leans on minutes for Jimmy, Adebayo, Vincent, Strus. It's just a 1-point spread. I've also documented the woes here for Denver on the road. They have been is it below at, or is it they're either like a 500 team on the road or slightly. Denver Nuggets road record this season. This message is held for review. Take one for every person in the chat. I feel like I've put this out there before, but y'all know I've never done the weed, bro. 13 and 14. So, like, you know, in my honor, it's just a little weird because it's not my thing. But I'm not against it. I just haven't done it. I do have, like, one singular gnat that is griefing me right now. So, uphill battle for Denver. They're already rough on the road. They're catching a good Miami defense. Some of the anchors of this defense still going to play. Butler, Adebayo, and Jokic, who had a cupcake matchup against Charlotte. I'm not touting this. What I'm about to say is not touting, but the thought process here. What is Jokic fantasy points? We just mentioned the under. God dang, 54. That's pretty low. Bam Adebayo is that dude. And Jokic averages 10 less fantasy points per game on the road. But I don't want to sweat Jokic unders. But if I did, I might be interested. But maybe it would be more so grabbing like a juicy PRA. Like, is the PRA crazy for Jokic on the static line? 47.5. What's the live line for his PRA? Wait till I come to Texas. So I'll say I'm not against it. My sister's a hippie, man. She does the earth medicine, but Not in an ironic way. Like she's like native with the earth. She's a very, I don't know. And she's always like, yo, bro, tonight's the night. Somebody one day. So the line from the books right now, the market's pushed it to 45.5. So if you want to believe in some out-of-bio defense, you can get a little bit of implied value with the overpriced PRA line on No House. Two PRA higher than what the books have them right now. There's a lot going there. Cool. Fastest typer in the West, saying what they call you guy. I haven't done a speed test in a minute, but in my heyday I was pushing 140, 150 words per minute. At 40% Kyrie, feel like I should have more. Do you? She's into that. Yeah, she has like a. I'm so proud of her. I love her. She's she does like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Like the medicines and stuff, like tinctures. She sets up Waco's famous for the that market that everyone goes to. I've never been there, but they're famous for it. Like she sets up homemade tinctures and stuff like that. She's got a whole little business. Like I'm so proud of her. Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas. I don't know where she like. I don't know. But they do ceremonies monthly. They go to like reservations to, you know what I mean? Like they're in it, right? Like they're living it. They ain't faking it. All right, Knicks hosting the Nets, 220 total, 2.5 point spread in favor of the Knicks. We've got Spencer Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Nick Claxton taking on Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and break down the walls of Jericho. Should be a down and pace spot. We're still trying to fill out this Nets team a little bit. Over the weekend, we did get a taste of what the Nets might look like offensively, who might pick up what type of responsibility. We saw Mikal Bridges take 18 shots, 20 plus real points, so that's something that can be leaned on. Dinwiddie played a lot of actual point guard, facilitating, picking up some peripherals here, and that was a slower pace matchup against the Sixers, right? And then Cam Johnson didn't do as much, but still got peripherals to kind of contribute. So are they kind of like old Pacers where they're stackable? Let's go back to Brooklyn. What about Cam Thomas? 12 shot attempts in that game. That was just a really low scoring outing, huh? What are we thinking on the Nets? It's a pace down spot against the Knicks. It's not a ton of implied points to be had here. I guess the 6,600 price point of Mikal Bridges is probably too low. But I don't have warm and fuzzies on anything else specifically. Like I think Cam Thomas, if his role is going to be off the bench, he shouldn't be AK. I think I get the Bridges on DraftKings, and that's kind of about it. I do think the Nets defense is going to look really good. I mean, they got some incredible lanky guys that are just already renowned for defense, but Bridges, Dorian Finney-Smith, Claxton, O'Neal, Ben Simmons. So this is also going to be a spot that's going to be soured on picking on. So I just might be down on this game, and it's okay. It's 11 game slate. Not every game can make the cut. If I did want to get here, I think Jalen Brunson's still on the south side of AK. We've seen 20 plus real points out of him, and then Julius Randle has shown that he can be a problem at just about any price point. But I think we can look elsewhere at price points in both those categories, the guard and the forward center spot. So I think I'm just fading this game. And unless you guys got like a different take, I don't really have reason to stay here, you know? Tinctures and all that. Yeah, man, she gave me some. They taste funky, but I think there's value in organic stuff. Do you have anything for Vucevic on PrizePicks? I haven't done the Bulls game yet, but we'll get there. Back in my EverQuest days, I typed 120 plus minutes. Now I touch a keyboard like 10 times a year. Yeah, kind of the same. Like, I don't type as much as I needed to. But, it's holistic medicine? Okay. Kuzma's out. Bron's out. All right. Grant out. LeBron might sit. Yeah, LeBron's already out, Vic. That happened while we were live. So, it probably still projected in my stuff. Ben Simmons should be in the stands. F that guy. Ouch. We got Philly fans in chat. I'm going to let you, today, Philly fans, y'all can be as toxic as you want towards Ben Simmons. You want to take a dump in Mother Maggie's shoe? Let's go take a dump in Mother Maggie's shoe. You earned it today. You could be sour. But tomorrow, cheer up, Buttercup. Magic at the Bulls. The Bulls. We got a 224 total. Favored by the home team, Chicago Bulls. Let me fill out the bench here. Jonathan Isaac, Bobo, Juma. Okay, yeah, this looks like a headache to deal with. Kobe White, Alex Caruso, Derrick Jones. Yeah, I used to have to type on the daily. But what happened was, so I went to school, I started middle school in New York. IS 49 in Staten Island. Anybody around here on that? Dalen Terry. And that was the 6th grade, and they had a typing class. And then I moved to Texas, and I moved to some farm town, and they did typing class in the 7th grade. And then I moved to another town the next year, and they did their typing class in the 8th grade. And by that semester, the teacher saw that I had it figured out. And they actually like linked up with the local courthouse, and they were trying to, I don't know what it was, they offered me to have a job there typing when I turned 15, 16, something like that. But I didn't want to do none of that nonsense. So I just basically spent that period looking at NASCAR stuff. I was a big NASCAR fan growing up. So yeah, they just kind of stuck with me. But yeah, I don't type as much lately. I don't know what it is. So the Magic, throwing out Markelle Fultz, Suggs, Wagner, Banchero, Wendell Carter, Ayo Dosunmu, Levine, DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Nikola Vucevic. The question was Vucevic, PrizePicks props. I think for DFS, it's cookie cutter approach, right? Probably just want one of 3 grabbing ceilings for this size slate, and then the Magic are just, there's enough there to vulture each other. I think there's a price, there's enough meat on the bone for Wendell Carter's price that he is in the conversation now that Mo Bamba's not there. But there's still a lot of people in this rotation. Bobo gets some minutes. But I think Wendell Carter, and then you want to, have some revenge fluff, go for it. So I think it's a pretty simple approach of how I'm going to attack this game for DFS. Just rules to live by. But the question somebody asked about Vucevic for PrizePicks, so we'll go look at it. 12 rebounds, 19 points, 40.5 fantasy points. I got him at 45, so I'm slightly on the over. But my projections are a little bit more geared towards ceiling for fantasy. So I wouldn't have like the strongest conviction, but I would probably lean the over. And I guess one of the reasons why is the Magic, they're kind of reverse funnel where almost 57% of their opponent's shots are 2-point shots. And I guess that also bodes well for DeRozan. So maybe we lean on some points for those guys that can score in the mid-range. Opponent 2-point frequency, the Magic are about league average. I'm a Pacers fan. The dude is just bad. He's never looking to score. He's not, but I think it's hate. I think Ben Simmons gets hate. He gets hate, yes, but I think he's overhated. Like, I think if Ben Simmons was just some quiet power forward that was just vibing, right? Setting up assists, getting rebounds. Like, it's kind of crazy that he's so polarizing. And I think it's just because, you know, in that market, they were trying to use him as a point guard. If you're not going to be a shooter, you can't be a point guard in this day. But there's got to be, like, comps in the league right now that take single-digit shot attempts. Like Capella, like, right? If he was just a center, Ben Simmons, that is, and maybe he's a little on the short side for a center. But there's games where Capella is taking, you know, single-digit shots, 5 shots, 6 shots. You never hear nobody complain about Clint Capella. So, I don't know. I think he's overhated, but I understand how we got here. But I do think he's still a good NBA player in the right role. I moved allows the kid education all jump it up. And there's zero recognition, thoughts, and procedure in place to deal with it. I agree. Even with Vooch smashing them, he would not have one. Even with Vooch smashing them, he wouldn't have one to 20.3 prop like most of the time. Okay. Trying to squeeze Bill and Ingram a lot of my lineups. Yeah, Bill's been hitting. He's been more efficient and more aggressive. I'm still a little bit trepidatious on his minutes, but it's fair. Wow, we got to hurry. All right, Pelicans at the Thunder. We'll just do. I'll wrap up the benches when I get off the air for the Vipers. Pelicans projected starting 5: McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Jonas Valanciunas taking on SGA, Josh Giddey, Aaron Wiggins, Jalen Williams, Kenrich Williams. 235.5 total, 2.5 point spread in favor of the home team, Oklahoma City Thunder. McCollum has a tag on him. Zion's still out. Let's see how serious this McCollum tag is. McCollum, questionable with right ankle sprain. So, do we think this market or the price, the spread is bracing for him to be down? If he is, we might look at Alvarado to pick up some slack, but we'd really just be looking at Brandon Ingram to pick up some slack here, right? So, let's go to New Orleans, Georgia. And there's no Devontae, huh? McCollum, not that he was front end, but he existed. So if in the case of us potentially getting Ingram without McCollum and Zion, Ingram has been almost 1.4 fantasy point per minute and 160 plus minutes of sample size on DraftKings, 1.3 on FanDuel. So he would become a play real quick, under 8K on both sites with a hefty total. So I'm kind of interested in what is JVal here. I guess JVal, the rotation in that front court is much more stressful to pick apart, but 1.3 fantasy point per minute in that split. So there's a world where JVal gets slept on at like negative ownership, right? So maybe he makes the pool, but I understand with Jackson Hayes, with Larry Nance, with that Hernan Gomez, like it's ugly. But Ingram could be a real play here, and he's already probably a really solid play no matter what. Maybe we don't have New Orleans props, but we do. Where are we at? 41.5 fantasy points here. Is this considering McCollum? It's not. So I'm already on the over here. So I don't mind it. Remember, this is yeah. And then SGA on the other side, he's gonna fall through the cracks. Absolutely, I get it. So if he stays at single digits and you're managing a larger portfolio of lineups, sure, get some of him because he gets into the list of top raw scorers really fast. But obviously Luka and Damian Lillard are above him, so pretty scoring dependent for him. Well, for all those, well, other than Luka, for those guys to get what you need to go. But you could probably make a batch of lineups that put SGA versus Ingram, correlate that slugfest, and then have some fun with it, I guess. Let's get caught up on chat. NASCAR has that Millie this weekend. Yeah, I'll be playing some NASCAR this weekend. I used to do NASCAR content a lot. When I first broke into the DFS game, I was covering everything. I fell out of love with NASCAR a little bit when they went stage racing, but it was also more like a time thing. Like I was just so busy, and it's so hard to have it all. And I had somebody help me out with NASCAR, Smeezy. So I might collab with him this week, see what we can do as far as building out a spreadsheet and getting back in the mix. But I'm definitely still playing NASCAR. Came out and said that he knows people want him to be the player. Oh yeah, that was LeBron or Ben Simmons. Yep. Lineup generator, spitting out some fire combos. Let's go. Joe Val doesn't get the minutes anymore. Yeah, the minutes are rough. Spread says he doesn't play. Yeah, it does look like they're waiting on it. But I also think Oklahoma City is undervalued by the public generally, or by the perception, right? Like just compared to the Pelicans here, their offensive ratings not that far behind. Their defensive ratings not that far behind, and the pace is faster, right? So I think the Thunder are one of the best teams against the spread. So I do think they're scrappier than we give them credit for. But I understand what you're saying. Like maybe the Pelicans aren't underdogs here, but maybe it's a little road hook. T-Wolves at the Mavericks. Project starting five for the T-Wolves. Mike Conley crossing over with Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Kyle. The Andersons got tickets to the game. How'd they get tickets? Rudy Gobert up against Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Josh Green, Reggie Bullock, Dwight Powell. For this one, we've got a 232.5 total. Pretty beefy total for a Mavs game. A 6.5 point spread in favor of the home team, Dallas Mavericks. So, new look teams on both sides. The Timberwolves without D'Angelo Russell. And then fascinating stuff coming from the Minnesota camp was apparently there was some beef with D-Russ and Rudy Gobert. Shocker. So, when the trade happened, like I wasn't really that sure why we wanted Mike Conley over or D'Angelo Russell. Not we, but them. And then when I heard that and start getting substantiated, Adam's the one that put me on that on the deeper dive. I was like, huh. So now Rudy Gobert working with Mike Conley, who has history on how to work with Rudy Gobert. So one of the things I want to watch going forward is if Rudy Gobert's offense picks up a little bit, Minnesota minute rotation against Memphis. We got 25 minutes out of Conley, so that's about the expectation for Conley at this stage in his career. But Anthony Edwards at 38 minutes. And that's a super tough matchup with number one defense, 32. So I expect that to come forward. Maybe the price isn't where I want it to be for this matchup specifically. But there's stuff I'm watching here. Like I'm taking information. I want to see if Rudy Gobert becomes more involved offensively with Mike Conley over D-Russ. So far, no, right? But Memphis is a tough defense, so I want to see that. We'll see a couple of games against average to below average matchups, and then other than that, I'm not that stoked with anyone individually here. I think Kyle Anderson sub 5K certainly has a chance to get there. The bulk of my interest is looking at the Mavericks side. A couple of you guys have mentioned big interest in Kyrie here, and I'm kind of waiting and seeing. Kyrie dropped 52 against Sacramento in 42 minutes, so 42 minutes is not normal. Let's see. So I don't think I'm playing Kyrie with Luka at this price. Like I think he's max price for. And overtime for Kyrie gave him. He had 7 points in overtime. Yeah, he had 7 points in overtime with a rebound and assist. So Kyrie was on pace to be a not good play at 10K. So I don't think I'm playing Kyrie. Luka's about the bulk of my interest here because I do think Luka's assist rate and his peripheral, his floor from peripheral is just going to be high enough that I want to get there. But I guess at 12K, you could also push back on Luka. You could build a little bit more balanced. I'll say I'm more likely to get to Luka than Kyrie, but I'm not in love with Luka as it is, right? For $1,000 cheaper, Damian Lillard's in a massive spot. We could fire him off at AD and hope for a lot of points there. We can get to Embiid in a nut matchup, but we deal with the spread. Jokic on the road in a bad matchup. We can get a little bit more balance really fast. I think 40 minutes of LaMelo Ball is on the table. There's some fun. There's some fun in chopping the head off at the top of the projections today. Let's get caught up on chat before we move on. I agree the books are starting to value and respect the Thunder. Yeah, any good straight bets? Darrow, man, I don't really get to do a lot of straight bets in Texas. I normally just do props since I don't have easily accessible sports book ability. So responsibly, I don't like to co-sign straight bets out there. Tyler Hero rolled out. All right, cool. Appreciate that. I have zero interest in Kyrie, 0% on to my end. Same. Somebody was in chat not too long ago saying that they had 40+% and thought they should have more. So I wonder what the feeling was on that, you know? Season high concurrent. I think 350 is our record. So if we break 350, chat, we could celebrate for this season. All right, before we move on to the next game, I do need to plug rundfs.com. I tell you what, we did this special yesterday, but since you guys are killing it, we'll keep it live. It's for the Super Bowl. This is it. Coupon code SUPER. So this does $50 off the All-Star Pass. So you get locked in until the baseball All-Star break, and then $100 off the year pass. You also get a $100 credit to Cruncher on the All-Star, $150 credit to Cruncher on the year pass. So for instance, you pull up the All-Star, have a coupon, click it, yes, the word super, like Super Bowl, boom, goes to $239.20. So you guys want to jump into the VIP, get the spreadsheets, and then hang out with me in the Discords, you can do so right there. After this stream, I'll be right here in the voice chat. I'm sure Raj is going to show up and have his full-on breakdown on the Rihanna halftime show. We'll have some fun with it. During that pre-lock chat, I'm in there for 2 hours, and then we bleed over to after. I build out my player pools for DraftKings and FanDuel, try to tighten up what 4 or 5 props I want to attack, and then stuff like that. So it's a good little group session. We're vibing, we're hanging out. You guys want to be part of that, go to rundfs.com, get yourself a VIP membership, and then if you want to lock in to a longer term VIP sub and get the Fantasy Cruncher credit, you can use promo code SUPER, SUPER, get you $50 off the All-Star, $100 off the year pass. All right, I'll hit 370. Oh, we were at 370 just now. Oh, wow. Oh, that's incredible. Thank you. I'm sorry. I was locked in. I think everyone's going to be leaving now because I kind of went over and, you know, my homies are live. So let's try to wrap it up real quick and knock out some of the last 2 games here. So Wizards at the Warriors. Project starting 5 for the Wizards. DeLon Wright, Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, Kristaps Porzingis, Daniel Gafford up against Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Kevin Looney. We've got a 234 total 4-point spread in favor of Golden State. Looking at this. So we had Kuzma out, right? I just read his name. I'm sorry, guys. I know he's out, but this is just what I had typed up. So we're probably going to put Danny Avdija there, or Advia. So that opens up a little bit more Bill, a little bit more Porzingis. I do like Porzingis without Kuzma a little bit more from the 1-to-1 impact. But I do think there's, like, if Corey Kispert started over Advia, that makes me like Porzingis even more. So we'll go Beal on Porzingis. If I would have started on time, or where I wanted to start, I'm going to say on time, but would have really had a good pace for this one. Kuzma. What's up, Doug? Those of you that are getting out of here, just do me a favor, hit that thumbs up on your way out. You bunch of goats. Yeah, Porzingis almost a 1.3 fantasy point per minute. So looks better for Porzingis here. to pick up some per minute slack in the absence of Kuzma. And then Bradley Beal, 7,600 on DraftKings. Again, it's not like we're expecting 40 minutes out of Bradley Beal, but we are starting to see a little bit of turnaround in his output. 30 plus real points against Indiana, 30 plus real points against Portland. But again, it's not 38-minute Beal, so maybe he's a little bit over efficient. 4 for 5 from 3. Maybe he's running a little bit hot, but I do think the usage will still be there in a game script that should favor him to step up. So on the Warrior side, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, Draymond, the 3 targets here. Poole's probably somebody I want to get a little prop stake in. So let's, with a little bit more sample size isolated, let's put Poole, Klay, and Draymond, and then we'll see if we can sink our teeth in a couple of Poole props. Curry. 29.5% assist rate for Poole there, 25% for Draymond. So looking at the market, Control F Poole. Yeah, I'll see what the official number is. Whenever I end, it gives me the instant report. But that's pretty incredible, man. I appreciate you guys. It's on the under of 5.5. Wow. See, I was ready to run and slam some overs there, but the market's steaming it down, so it might even go down even more. Maybe it go down to 5 in some spots, because that's some steam on the under. Minus 140. I kind of disagree with it, but if I disagree with it, I'm gonna wait for a better line. So this 5.5 could be 5 soon. Maybe he's over efficient. Why is the market so anti Jordan Poole assists right now? I don't get it. What am I missing? Jordan Poole assists by game log without Steph Curry. Let's go last 10 games. Why does the market hate Jordan Poole assists? He's gotten 5 or more in 8 of 10. There's a 2 against Cleveland, a 1 against Utah from last season. I'll wait. Like, if it gets down to 5, I'll take the 5 and hit the over, because I disagree with it, but somebody knows something I don't know. Got Draymond Green assist locked over. Let's see, what's Draymond at? Draymond's at 6.5 with a little bit of steam on the over in some spots, 7.5 under. So it looks like we have a full assist difference in some spots for Draymond. What is PrizePicks at? 6.5. So they're on the low side. So there is room for that to move up. He's their primary shooter. Jordan Poole's the primary shooter. I think he is a primary shooter, but I think Klay Thompson exists, and Klay Thompson will shoot 20, 28, 21 shot attempts. So primary might be a little like he's not a primary ball handler is what I would say. I don't know. His assist rate is like fine though. Like in the numbers themselves, 29.5% assist rate. Like I don't know. I'm on the over, but I'll wait. If we get that line at 5, I'll take the line at 5 and just go there. You know. Wiggins underpriced on FanDuel, 71. Underpriced on FanDuel, 71. Should be a lot of minutes coming from Wiggins. If you think he's underpriced on FanDuel, you'll love his DraftKings price, huh? Sure you didn't click Aaron Wiggins? All right, let's do the last game, and then those of you that are hanging out, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, or props you want to look at, I got some time. Lakers at the Blazers. So we're gonna do Schroeder, D. Russ, Rui Hachimura, Anthony Davis taking on Dame Dollar, Anthony Simons, Cam Reddish, Jeremy Grant, Drew Eubanks. What was the total? We had a 238 total. Let me refresh that, because potentially it moved when LeBron officially got ruled out. It did not. Okay, so 238 with a 2.5 in favor of Portland. And then we'll do Troy Brown in the starting lineup here. So, there's a little bit of sour grapes on Anthony Davis for not breaking slates the last 2 games. Against the Warriors, 19 shot attempts. So, for a guy that doesn't shoot threes to shoot 26% on 19 shot attempts is a little bit unlucky. We probably expect that to be like 50%. So there's some room to go forward. So probably in a good day is 25 real points, right? So if we added another 12 points, that would put us at 52. So I'm willing to forgive Anthony Davis because of that. I do think, I don't know. I mean, D-Russ picks up slack, but what's the market on AD? Poole is no Simons, this guy. Poole isn't a natural playmaker. I mean, he has a 29% assist rate. I don't think so in that scheme, the Warrior scheme, it's kind of like hot potato, who has the ball last, right? A lot of hockey assists going on. But I think that's true for everyone. It's not like Draymond's driving to the rack and dishing out like a playmaker. You know what I'm saying? Creating space for other. It's a lot of moving screens going on. So I get what you're saying for sure. But at the same time, he's also like he's been getting there. What was I looking at? Davis, right? Davis point prop is at 28.5. So the market's kind of expecting or adjusting or bracing for him to regress positively as well. And now that there's no LeBron, I'm in. So you can give me some D-Russ, some Schroeder, but I'm definitely in on some AD. And I do like the thought of running AD at Lillard. The Blazers are going to be... I put Keldon. I meant Keon Johnson. Blazers are going to be without Nurkic again, and then we got a couple tags. So Jeremy Grant got rolled out. I forgot to take his name out the mix. And that is very meaningful. So it's even more so at the top for Dame to pick up some slack, right? So let's see, what do we benefit in the absence of Jeremy Grant though? The Damian Lillard, Simons. We'll take off Nurkic. Blazers tweeted there will be hot girls courtside seats means pool. Let's go. Can you play Simons and Lillard in the same level? So I think that's I was poo-pooing the thought of that for like Mark Williams and Nick Richards. But there's, at least on FanDuel, I think it lives together. On DraftKings, 11 plus K for Lillard, 7K is for Simons. I mean, that's what, 18,000. You essentially want 100 fantasy points between the two. And I guess I have him projected for about 100 fantasy points. But you need it. I think on FanDuel, you could live with like 80 to 90 at these prices. So I would probably say it's more viable on FanDuel than DraftKings if you're trying to double dip. But I don't think it's as crazy as it should be. Not a lot of sample size here. Lillard, 34% usage. And then, and if we were to really dilute it, we'd take off Josh Hart. So we're just going to have to go with what we know. Eubanks looks like a solid value. Watford might see... Man, let's see. Thibault might get some run. I never want to play Thibault for DFS. So Watford, Drew Eubanks, Nas Little would probably be the guys that benefit the most. Maybe there's a little bit of Nas Little interest for me. A little. But not a lot. These are just stocking stuff for volatile value plays. Eubanks is the guy that I do like, but Eubanks has costed us in some spots with some big foul trouble, right? 4 fouls, 26 minutes, 5 fouls, 24 minutes, and you put him against a high usage guy like Anthony Davis, and we might open those floodgates even more. So he's going to be in the pool. He's going to be in the blender. Him and Watford. Maybe we treat Watford and Eubanks the same as Mark Williams and Nick Richards. We don't put them together. And we need to make sure Watford actually plays. That's how we attack that. All right, what are you guys thinking here? We're close to 100 likes. So we can get that 100 up. That'd be great. Any comments, questions, concerns, props, anything you want to look at, we'll knock it out now. Otherwise, I got to get into the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. I do got to update some lineups, update some benches, and sweep some news. Jake says, can't wait for the Daytona 500. Sunday, I'm going to be... You're going to the Daytona 500? Nice. I won't be able to watch it. On Sunday, I have to defend the tag team championships. You know what I mean? And it's the All-Star break. But yeah, I have a wrestling match on Sunday, so I won't be able to watch it, but I will probably lock in some lineups and then go to my match. My match isn't that far. It's like the next town over, so. What up, Darius? Hope you're doing all right. How could the Lakers sign Beasley knowing he was banging Scottie Pippen's mom earlier in the year? Amen. It's LA, bro. Lakers guard D this week. Yeah, Damian Lillard should be able to thrive. Reverse psychology on assist rate gun. Follow the feeling in your bad knee. Right? So it's burned me in a couple spots, but I've also been right. Like last week, Trae Young, I thought he was at like 8.5 or 9.5 assists. I was like, yeah, he's gonna hit that single digits. And like the juice was on the under. I went with the over. I stuck with my guns, and he hit 14. But then I've been like getting screwed by Halliburton the last 2 games. So like it give and take. There's times where my gut is right and the market's wrong, and vice versa. So it is what it is. Missed the Bulls breakdown. Yeah, it's for DFS. I'm just doing what I always do with the Bulls, especially considering this pace. I would say for DeMar DeRozan, the spot against the Magic, they don't see a lot of threes. I mean, opponents shoot a lot of 2-point frequency. So this is actually like not a terrible spot for DeRozan, but like I'm fine with DeRozan unders if we're just putting the ball in Levine or Vooch's hands. But I don't have like a strong reason to be at one guy or the other. So for DFS, I'm just probably maxing one of the 3 and letting them fall as such, right? Dad's a huge NASCAR fan. I love NASCAR. I loved NASCAR growing up, and it was before the stage racing. And then when stage racing came, it just kind of murkied it up for me. And then the guys that I grew up loving, like Tony Stewart was my favorite. All those guys started retiring. So it's a whole different, when I watch it now, it's like I don't know these guys, but NASCAR is still a great sport. How can we watch your championship match? It's not going to be live streamed. At least I don't think it is. I'm sure it'll be on the internet eventually. It'll be fun though. Hopefully I got some bigger matches coming up this year that might get live streamed. All right, guys, I got to get into the Discord, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Monday afternoon. Thumbs up, and then tell somebody you love them. Even if it's just a heart, right? It's okay. You want to work your way into the L word, that's fine. Throw somebody a heart emoji, man or woman. Let them know you love them, you're thinking about them. I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, I think. Yeah, I will, right? I don't know what day the All-Star break starts, but it's going to start soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe the time is a little bit earlier. 2-4. We got a 5-game slate tomorrow. No, it's not. It's going to be a late lock. Good. And then Wednesday, big slate. Thursday, 3-gamer. And then the All-Star break. So we'll be back at it tomorrow. Probably 3:30 Eastern. Probably. And then we'll get some stuff going. Which props are you going on after PrizePicks? I'll try and drop a list in the free Discord. There's a link to that in the description below. I'll try and circle the wagons on 4 or 5, drop it in the free Discord, and then hopefully we make some money tonight, man. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.